What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another ShowMeFootball.com Mizzou postgame show live. Um, I mean, that was difficult to watch. I'm joined by Connor again today. Hopefully, we get some people in to join us and ask questions and comments and discuss the game with today. Again, I appreciate those who choose us since we're competing with a couple other streams and postgame shows and whatnot. So, it means a lot. But Mizzou falls to Boston College 34-41 in overtime. And I've got some concerns. I know you've got some concerns, Connor, but we'll start by asking you your initial thoughts on today's game.
Only player worth a damn on this team's the kicker.
Well, Tyler Beatty, too.
I like Beatty, too. Like, I know you said you were going to do it, but I actually did buy Harrison Mevis's t-shirt.
Oh, really? You bought it, like, already?
Yeah. Like, I didn't waste any time on that.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, 573 Tees, they've partnered with Harrison Mevis and they made Thicker Kicker t-shirts. So if you want to go buy one, go check out 573tees.com. But I'm not, they don't sponsor me. I'm just giving them a shout out. So trust me.
No, they deserve the shout out because he made that 56-yard bomb. So they don't have to pay us shit. Like, I don't care. I hope they're high quality t-shirts though, because it cost me $27. But at the time,
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I really didn't care. Like, I'll gladly spend $27 if it means I support Harrison, because he is the best player on this football team, and I don't think that's really a debate at this point.
Well, again, Tyler Beatty is on this team, who
I will take Harrison Mevis as a football player over Tyler Beatty. Harrison Mevis is a better kicker than Tyler Beatty is a.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Find me a better kicker in the nation. You can't.
Yeah, I mean, he's perfect on the ear, so can't argue with that. Let's go ahead and get right into the defense from this game, though, because I think that's probably going to be the biggest talking point yet again. They gave up a total of 450 yards of offense to Boston College. Boston College had 275 yards rushing on the day. And, you know, Connor, the most frustrating thing about being a Mizzou and a Chiefs fan is they're both terrible at run defense. And I literally cannot escape cheering for football teams that can't stop the freaking run.
I've been saying this, and I'm going to continue to say this. Tackling is the most basic, fundamental aspect of football, yet nobody can do it. Why is it so difficult?
I don't know. And I'm going to go ahead and reiterate again what we've been saying for the past few weeks. This is not on Wilkes. I've seen a lot of tweets, and posts just on social media. Fire Wilkes. Wilkes wasn't the answer. Wilkes is a bad hire. Wilkes isn't changing anything, because Wilkes isn't going to change anything, guys. When you have defensive tackles that are getting moved by Boston College offensive linemen 5-10 yards out of the play, when you have guys like Jalen Carleys and Ishmael Burdine literally right there to make the tackle, and they whiff on the tackle, there is nothing Steve Wilkes can do as DC to fix that. Like, this is a talent chasm with Mizzou. If they can't stop the run, but it's not because Wilkes' scheme. Like, I'm watching the game, like, I've made it a point to look closely to see what Wilkes is doing. He's stacking guys in the box. He's blitzing at the right times. He's dialing up complicated blitz packages. There's nothing more Steve Wilkes can do. The team just does not have the talent. They can't stop the run. They're not going to be able to stop the run this year. They don't have the horses, and they probably won't be able to make strides on defense for another couple years.
There is no better advertisement for literally any other university than watching the Missouri Tigers play football, because I would gladly pay out-of-state tuition to attend the University of Alabama so I have an excuse to root for them instead of this sorry-ass team. I am so sick of being a Mizzou fan, and I was born into it. And, like, the first football game I can remember watching is Chase Daniel 2007 beating Kansas. And, like, why this team? What did I do to deserve being a Missouri fan? This team is so ungodly frustrating week in and week out, and I'm so tired of the same crap every single week.
Yeah. I mean, let's be clear about something. I think 8 or 9 wins is out the window now because I said you have to go 1-1 in the Kentucky and Boston College games in order to be seriously looking at 8 or 9 wins. They lost to Kentucky and Boston College. So those were the 2 toss-up games on their schedule. They lost both of them. Best case scenario now is 7 wins. And I'd say 6 wins is probably more likely.
Tennessee is a question mark now. North Texas better not be. Texas A&M, that's probably a loss. Vanderbilt, I should hope we win that. Georgia, not winning that one. South Carolina, question mark. Florida, not winning that one. Arkansas, I think Arkansas is the favorite as of right now.
Arkansas looks better. They look a lot better this year. I mean, I can't even lie. They do. And yeah, that's a game that scares me.
They're playing Texas A&M right now. If they
What's the
beat
score?
Texas A&M, we're screwed. They're up 3-0.
Okay. But the defense, look, they're not going to get better this year. You have to accept what the defense is at this point.
Bad.
This is a team that's going to have to win through their offense. And the problem is when their offense isn't executing either, that's when you have games like today. Now, it was still impressive to me that Mizzou took this game to overtime and they had a nice drive down the field to set up Harrison Mevis for that 56-yard field goal. Yeah, that was great. But the offense still leaves a bit to be desired. And that's where I'm going to bring up the Connor Bazelak discussion because Connor, I know he's your guy. But each game we come on here and talk about it, the sample size becomes bigger of him not being able to complete a pass that's 10 yards or more without absolutely shitting his pants.
Well, the thing about Bazelak that I always praised him for is kind of the Nick Foles big dick play style. You know, he wasn't going to do anything flashy, but he had pocket poise and confidence, and that's what you want in a quarterback. And there were several moments in this game where he looked scared. And I don't know why. And there was like a couple just like routine throws that he screwed up. And that just like pissed me off to no end. I think one of them was like the receiver was behind the line of scrimmage and he just kind of tossed it forward and it was incomplete. And then the other one, I think it was Dawson Downing. He didn't get the ball out quick enough and he caught the ball and stumbled out of bounds for a loss of 1. And it's just little things like that where you can tell he's second guessing himself that you need to do. And it just shows like a complete lack of confidence in his play style. And I don't know what caused that.
I mean, I know the defense is the reason Mizzou, allows as much points as they do, and they were in the situation because of the defense. But ultimately, it's kind of like the Chiefs-Ravens game. Like, there were other things that led up to Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbling the ball to lose the game, but the fact of the matter is he still fumbled the game away. It's the same thing with Bazelak here throwing that pick at the end. Like, yes, there were other things that led to that, but Bazelak threw the game away. I mean, he threw in a triple coverage on the first down of overtime. That was pathetic. And there's other throws that I'm seeing him make that are like, throws a true freshman makes that's making his first or second start. Like there was a play where he threw it to Barrett Bannister on the sideline for a loss of 2 yards. Like, why even throw that ball? He looks afraid to run. When he runs, I mean, he takes a few seconds to go, oh yeah, I can run. Okay, there we go. And then he looks like a grandpa, bailing on the pocket. I mean, there was his first interception, he threw right to a BC defender. The first throw to Barrett Bannister on the last drive of the game, I mean, just totally overthrew him. I mean, like I said, he struggles to throw passes that are over 15 yards. And if you take away that LSU game from last year, what has he done? Like, when has he really made you go, man, Bazelak is going to be special? Like, really, the LSU game is all he has under his belt. I mean, he just looks painfully average to below average. And I'm almost ready to say I'm wanting to see Brady Cook or even Tyler Macon just to see what they got, man, because there were points in the game where, like you were complaining about the 3rd and 15 run early in the game for the offense. To me, that was Drinkwitz saying, I don't have faith in my QB to complete a pass for 10 yards. So he wanted to create a manageable situation for his punter. Like, I think he's losing faith in Bazelak.
I don't think that if you bench Bazelak for Brady Cook or Tyler Macon, anything good is going to happen. That's like essentially throwing the towel in on the season to me. I don't think that anything good can come from that. And I don't think that they're better quarterbacks either. I think if you're going to sit here and want an upgrade at quarterback, you're going to have to wait till Sam Horn is on campus, because we've seen solid play from Brady Cook and Tyler Macon against SEMO, but Connor Bazelak was also very good in that game. So I don't
Go
think
figure,
that
right?
I don't think that benching him is going to accomplish anything. I think you just have to kind of roll with him until the season's already at 7 losses.
The thing is, while I do agree with you for the most part, like the Mizzou offense is dinking and dunking way more than they should. And again, to me, you're showing that you have no faith in Bazelak to, push the ball downfield. And if that is the case, if that's going to be the case, then put someone else in. Seriously. I mean, I want a quarterback that can throw the ball and push the ball downfield. Even if they make mistakes and they're going to throw a few picks, at least they're taking those risks, a more often than not. And maybe they come in and they look really good and they protect the ball well. I mean, you don't know, but yeah, maybe it's something that you try when it's a blowout game, or like you said, the season is lost at that point. But I think if the season does become lost, a lot of it is going to have to do with Bazelak not stepping up. But you almost have to wonder if it's Drinkwitz calling these plays because Bazelak isn't, he doesn't make him comfortable, or if Bazelak isn't running the plays Drinkwitz wants because he's not comfortable.
I don't know. I think what Drink needs to do moving forward is just like tell Bazelak, hey, you're our quarterback for at least the foreseeable future, and I need to start acting like you're my quarterback, Like, how are you going to expect your quarterback to go out there and have like that big dick energy that we talked about last season if you are saying on 3rd and 15, hey, we don't trust you to make this throw, so we're going to run the ball? Like you have to like start shit like act like you're confident. You either have to act like you're confident in him or just bench him. One of the two. You can't do this little in between crap. And I feel like you have to go out there and say, yeah, he's our quarterback. We're going to play with him. And it'd be nice to take some deep shots and stuff like that. But we don't need to do that to win. If you keep the game in front of you and just take what the defense gives you, dink and dunk, all that crap, you can win football games pretty easily. Tom Brady's been doing it for 22 years. So it's really not that big a deal to me. We can still win the game. And if anything, long dink and dunk incremental drives that keeps the defense off the field probably gives us our best chance to succeed, but we have to start scoring on those.
Yeah. Real quick tweet from Mitchell 40. Hashtag Mizzou QB Connor Bazelak was as close to emotional as I've seen him after the game. He said Mizzou would have gone for 2 if it had scored in overtime. So that hurts even more.
Which is exactly what I said should have happened. Like when they scored, I said, we have to score here and go for 2. And like I was saying, like you can keep the game in front of you. There was no need to take a shot there. Absolutely none. You had the ball. There's no clock in overtime. You have all day, all the time you need to dink and dunk, get your way into the end zone, and then go for 2.
Well,
there was no need to take that shot.
And here's the other thing, too. What really concerns me is the fact that Bazelak not only looked underwhelming, but he looked underwhelming when the offensive line actually had a really good day. Not a lot of people are going to talk about it. The offensive line gave him so much time to stand back there. And it's like, I don't want a quarterback that you have to give him 10 seconds for him to find anything where he feels comfortable throwing downfield. And he also had a nice pocket on that first throw in overtime that lost the game, and yet he still throws into triple coverage. Why? Like, it makes no sense. Why throw that?
I don't think that we even need to like throw the ball downfield at all. Like, just we need to like. No one's gonna really agree with this because everyone wants like these big, sexy, deep shots. But I'm completely fine if we just like completely change the play calling around to just be short, quick passes that take long drives to go down and score. Like, yeah, if we're down big, it's going to suck because the offense won't be quick enough to go score. But if you keep the game in front of you, then you're not going to need to worry about coming back because you keep the defense off the field, keep it a low scoring game, and you get in the end zone. It doesn't matter how long the drive is as long as you get in the end zone every time. So just start doing that. Stop trying to get like these big, sexy deep shots or anything like that. Just do your bread and butter. Do what Bazelak can do. Don't try to make him somebody he's not.
Another thing we have to talk about too is their game plan.
Sucked.
At the end of the regulation on defense, they, I mean, Drinkwitz and Wilkes were betting on the defense at the end of the game. Now, thankfully, they drove down the field a little bit, and Beavis had the field goal that sent them to overtime. But before that, I'm going, just let them score. I do not understand why coaches who have shitty defenses, and they know they have shitty defenses, continue to put their faith in their defenses at the end of the game. If I was coach, I would say, guys, just let them score. I know you don't want to do that because you want to, you don't want to show your players that you don't trust them, but literally just let them score. Because then that could have been a game that was lost as soon as BC scored at the end there. I mean, why call timeouts? Why play like you're going to have any chance of stopping them? They should have called timeouts way before that, or just let them score. I mean, they were calling timeouts with like 40 seconds left. It's like, well, it's kind of late for that.
I mean, I understand why you say that, but at the same time, how are you going to look these keep in mind, emotional college kids who can leave anytime they want in the eyes and say, you're not good enough to make the stop. Let them score so the offense can get the ball back.
I know. That's why it's such a huge dilemma. But at the same time, like, what do you value more? Making college kids feel good or actually winning games?
Well, if all your college kids are pissed off because you tell them they suck to their face and then they leave, you're not going to win any games.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with
Believe me, I am
overhaul.
the last person to care about the emotions of the players after the game. But this is one of those situations where you can't give up on the team. It's like what I was talking about last week, where Drink was essentially, or not last week, the week before. I feel like Kentucky was last week because CMO literally didn't matter. But the entire week leading up to the Kentucky game, Drink did not believe in his team at all. And you could tell for the first half of the game, he did not believe in his team. And I don't know, as a head football coach, how you could possibly tell those guys that you recruited and that you're with practice every day that they are not good enough to win the game.
It's a tough situation. I want to highlight a comment. I want to highlight a comment we just got. JRAS1992 says, I'm sorry, but alarm bells are going off for me with Drink. I don't know. I mean, his one thing that I will say is alarming me about Drink is a lot of his play calling. A lot of it just isn't making sense to me. I feel like he's running when he doesn't have to, and he's trying to force some stuff that's just not. He's going against the team's strengths. Like, again, giving Bazelak the freedom to throw that ball on first down and the triple coverage. But here's the thing. This is why we're in the situation that we're in. And I don't know how many times we have to say it. Barry Odom left the cupboard bare, okay? Barry Odom had consecutive years of Mizzou finishing bottom third in the SEC in recruiting. They finished 45th in recruiting rankings nationally one year before Barry Odom left. Right now, they're top 5 in the SEC. If you can bring in 2 or 3 more classes of that, then you will start to see improvement. You will start to see change, assuming Luther Burden commits, which the crystal ball is trending towards Mizzou landing Luther Burden right now. Why would you want
to come after seeing that?
Good question, but I'm not here to tell you why. And Sam Horn comes in. And, all of these talented players they have in the 2022 class come in. You just need to continue to bring that in. And then you can start to see results. But we knew this team had weaknesses going into the year, correct? Well, those weaknesses are starting to show up. They're just being confirmed on the field now. And now you guys are wanting to fire the coaches, even though we acknowledged before the coaches got here that all these things were stuff that had to be fixed, right? So,
Well, here's the thing with Drink. My issue with him is indeed the play calling. And I know, like, you've shot down this idea several times before, but I truly think the guy needs an offensive coordinator because some of his play calls are just stupid. And everyone else has an offensive coordinator. Nick Saban has a defensive coordinator. I think at times Drink just gets overwhelmed. So if you bring in an offensive coordinator, Drink can still do his recruiting, do part of the play calling, but that just takes a certain level of pressure off of him when he has another guy in the building. So yeah, just give him an offensive coordinator. And Drink has blamed himself and his play calling in press conferences in the past. So I think that he can
which I
acknowledge.
appreciate.
Well, yeah, of course he has to. You need a coach that takes responsibility, and I think the players probably really appreciate that too. Because how are the players supposed to respect him getting mad at the players if he doesn't take responsibility himself? But I truly think that this team would improve a lot by Drink making an offensive coordinator hire just to take some of that pressure off of him and some of the play calling in certain situations. Because being a head coach is a lot. And if you're both the head coach and offensive coordinator, you can get overwhelmed at times. And I think we see that more and more frequently. So I think Drink is humble enough to do what Andy Reid never does and say, hey, maybe I need someone else to come in and play call. And we can keep getting Drink's great recruiting classes without his shitty play calling.
But the thing is, and while I will still be against bringing in an OC at least right now, and maybe I turn around on it later on. I mean, I still think Drink is a great offensive mind, even though he'll have games or times where you go, man, Drink, I don't know about that play calling there. And like you mentioned, like Drink will be willing to admit that at times. But if you bring in an OC, especially at the college level, and especially at a program like Missouri, it's going to be an ego clash. The offensive coordinator is going to have, he's going to aspire to be a head coach at one point. And we talk about all the time how Drinkwitz is essentially the head coach of the offense, and Steve Wilkes is essentially the head coach of the defense. So if you bring in an offensive coordinator, how much of the play calling is being balanced between Drink and the offensive coordinator? Because an offensive coordinator, like I said, is going to come in here and he's going to want to do his thing. And if Drink isn't doing the offense anymore at that point, then why is Drink here? Because he works with he doesn't touch the defense. But that's not how it works. Like, you don't just have a head coach just to recruit. Like, this is Drink's vision for the program. He sells kids on his offensive scheme and how he thinks players can help that. And that's also, we have to acknowledge that too. A lot of this play calling may just be because Drink knows he doesn't have the personnel to do what he wants to do.
The way I see it is kind of like Drink's the GM, and it's like if the GM's calling offensive plays, because that's college football head coach is kind of comparable to a GM spot. You look at programs like Alabama, they have rotating coaching staffs all the time, but Nick Saban at the end of the day builds the program. So that's just kind of the way I view college football coaches, and that's a lot of the times why you see them not really pan out when they go to the NFL, because at the end of the day, the great college football coaches are team builders, and I think that Drinkwitz is a very good team builder. He got a good defensive coordinator. I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with that, but he got a former NFL defensive coordinator, or former NFL head coach, and Steve Wilkes in the building to run the defense, and he's done a very good job recruiting thus far. So he has proven himself to be a very good team builder. Time to build the offense. And it's going to be an ego clash, but it doesn't need to be like a big name NFL hire to be offensive coordinator, and he doesn't need to run the offense. It's just a position that if you fill it with somebody who Drink trusts and has history with, just to come in and help out. He doesn't need as much power as a standard offensive coordinator would get. Just he needs to take some of the pressure off Drink, because Drink just has such a load on him right now.
But the other thing is too is I think there's already coaches that people don't talk about that like they have kind of an offensive coordinator role. They just don't have the title, which is actually probably better because then you don't have to pay them like an offensive coordinator. But Curtis Looper, the running backs coach, I think he's very heavily involved in the offense with Drink. Scott Lennon, they brought him in as an analyst, the former Rams guy. These are guys that I'm sure have a voice in the room when Drink and the coaches are talking offense.
I feel like Scott Linehan is just there so his son got a job. But
maybe. Another thing I want to talk about today, though, is even though Tyler Beatty did some good things, by the way, that one-handed catch that he made that was barely caught would have hit the ground otherwise. Great play by Beatty. And also, if that had hit the ground, I would have really been like, okay, Bazelak, you're telling me you can't make a 2-yard freaking screen throw, but that's besides the point. Tyler Beatty, in the receiving game was a factor, 5 receptions for 34 yards. He still had 18 carries for 72 yards, which isn't like fantastic. Still had 2 touchdowns though and 4 yards per carry. But other than that, the run was largely shut down by Boston College, which kind of surprised me. Only 88 total rushing yards for Missouri's offense.
Yeah,
hold on. Let me throw this in real quick too. He looked a little slow to me at times too, Beatty. I think there's something going on with him. Maybe he's a little nicked up because he looked kind of slow turning up field for me today.
Yeah, the best part of the running game today was when the announcer said Big Michael Cox goes into the end zone. He knew exactly what he was doing, and I audibly laughed when that happened.
It was good to see him get a carry because I think a lot of people said, oh, Michael Cox is just this funny story, but he's not going to get any carries during the regular season. And he got a touchdown today, so he's getting some increased looks.
I didn't realize how big he was.
Yeah, he is pretty big. He's your Larry Roundtree replacement.
I think he's bigger than Larry.
Not really, but yeah, I mean he's a nice power back to have on roster. There's nothing wrong with that.
Give it to him on the 1-yard line.
Yep.
Pump it in there.
Going back to the defense real quick though. No, I'm not doing that. Another thing I want to point out today is Boston College dominated the time of possession. They had the ball for over 34 minutes. Mizzou only for 25 minutes. And there were points in the game. Third quarter. They had the ball, Mizzou did, for like 1 minute. Literally like a minute and a half. They had the ball in the third quarter. That's pathetic, and that shows just how bad the defense is, which, I mean, we already knew, but, geez, you're not going to win a lot of games when you get totally outweighed in the time of possession like that.
Yeah, we might be completely screwed. I just turned around for a second to check the Arkansas game. It's 17-0 Arkansas.
I'm not sure if that goes to show how good Arkansas is or if how bad Texas A&M is.
Yeah, I'm not really thrilled to see that.
Well, let's just focus on Tennessee and North Texas for right now.
Yeah, 2 games we're going to be attending. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, we're going to be sitting in the upper deck, I hope, so we can scream profanities.
We should sit on the hill.
I think we'd get kicked out if we sat on the hill.
Oh, my God.
Anything else in particular you want to say about this game? I mean, there's not... I feel like we should be breaking it down more, but it's like...
Well, there's not much to break down. Like,
the defense sucks.
You can sit here and be all analytical, but at the end of the day, the defense can't tackle. Like, that's... it. Like, I remember hearing Bill Belichick, like, talk about how he'll bring in, like, these young assistants who will break out their Microsoft Surface tablets, trying to figure out why the Patriots lost, and he'll just sit there and say, guys, it's because we can't tackle. And that's about as simple as it is for this game. The defense can't tackle. Whoop-de-doo. Like, what else do you want us to say? I will say, though, I really like Sean Robinson.
That's something we did not talk about. His story gets better by the week. I mean, he was playing significant snaps at safety, and he had an interception today. I mean, he has the
He should have
athleticism
had
to play
2.
safety. Clearly, he dropped the other one, but man, he's been a good story. He looks really good at safety.
Yeah, I know somebody was like, "Oh, we have Sean Robinson starting at safety. That's pathetic." But no, I think he looks good, and I'm so happy for him because
people are underestimating him because they think, "Oh, the former quarterback playing safety, that's not good for our safety room."
like,
No, I think it just speaks to how good Sean Robinson is.
But off the top of my head, like Travis Kelce, Cam Chancellor, there's a lot of good NFL players who used to be quarterbacks. Logan Thomas for the Redskins was a quarterback for the Cardinals a few years ago. Just because they used to be a quarterback doesn't mean they can't be good at another position.
No, I mean, he was a dual threat quarterback for a reason. I mean, he's an athletic guy who just happened to play quarterback, but is completely capable of playing other positions if asked.
And he looks good. I really like him. And I'm so happy for him because, especially in the era of the transfer portal, when it seems like there's a new quarterback hitting the portal every week, and it seems like just about every quarterback has transferred or thought about it at some point because everyone's like so sensitive, and like if they lose the battle, no one wants to be a backup. And it's just nice to see Sean say, you know what, I lost the battle to Connor, but I'm going to be a good teammate and try and figure out another way I can help this team,
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, there's not a ton more to break down. I mean, the defense sucks. Connor Bazelak is shaky, and we question Drink's play calling a little bit, but this team is going to have to win through its offense for the rest of the season. I think that's pretty much Mizzou in a nutshell. That's Mizzou in a nutshell.
This is going to be such a fun year. Why did we buy tickets to 2 games? Why did we want to go suffer through this live?
Well, even worse,
2-hour drive for both of us, and we're going to make it in back-to-back weeks. This is going to suck.
Even worse, one of the weekends we bought tickets to, we're going to have to drive to KC after that and watch the Chiefs play the Buffalo Bills with their run defense.
Whoopee, that's a nice little foreshadowing for tomorrow. God, I can't wait to play the Chargers after this crap.
That's what I'm saying. It's maddening to cheer for 2 teams that are historically bad at stopping the run.
I was kind of wondering, though, like, when was the last time Mizzou and Kansas City lost in the same weekend?
Good question. I really don't know.
Because
I remember we used to
we got pissed off.
We used to come. Yeah, we used to come on our podcasts and we would say, "Oh my gosh, Mizzou and Kansas City won in the same weekend." Oh, that doesn't happen a lot because it didn't happen a lot before. But
I don't think they usually lost in the same weekend, though. Like, ever. I think it was usually split. Or because like the last time the only loss during the college football season the Chiefs had was the Week 5 game against the Raiders, and I honestly don't remember who Mizzou played that week. So, assuming Mizzou won there, it's been a while since they lost in the same weekend.
Yeah. One more thing I want to touch on, and then I think we'll probably wrap it up. There was the play in the first half where the linebacker number 19 for Boston College hit towards the head and neck area of Dominic Lovett after he was down and the play was over. And I mean, Mizzou got a 15-yard penalty, but the guy got to stay in the game. They said no targeting, which is absolute BS to me when, I mean, look, Nick Bolton got ejected for less than that last year against Arkansas, and that guy clearly hit him in the head neck area after the play was over and gets to stay in the game. That's BS.
The difference in ACC and SEC refs, I suppose.
It was an SEC crew today, though.
What?
Yeah, it was an SEC crew.
How do they determine which conference does it then? I thought it was always the home team.
I don't know, but I recognized the referee from this game too, because I think he was the same one that did the Mizzou-Kentucky game.
Huh. Wow. Oh, yeah, you're right, it was. I guess I never
Yeah,
really put that together.
he does. I don't remember the guy's name. Not that I remember a lot of refs' names, but I mean, he does like almost every single Mizzou game.
The only ref's name I know is Ed Hockley.
Yeah.
But
Any other thoughts on this game though?
it sucked, and I love Harrison Mevis. It's gonna suck so bad when he graduates because our next kicker isn't gonna be anywhere near this good.
No, they really looked out with him, and I was actually going to say that it sucks that we're kind of wasting prime years of Harrison Mevis right now.
Yeah, it's such a stark contrast from Tucker McCann, because Tucker McCann, he was going to kick it far, but you didn't know where it was going to go. It was kind of a 50-50 shot every single kick. It doesn't matter if it was 36 yards or 70. It was going to be a 50-50 shot if he was going to make it or not. And with Harrison Mevis, I wasn't freaking out when I thought he was going to kick it from the 60. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to do this. But
I had confidence in him, even if it was going to be from 60 plus, because I think he has the leg for it. He definitely has the leg for it. A lot of times when it's down to situations like that, something that I'll do is I'll like run to the nearest bathroom and like hide under the vanity or something. But
that's not something I'd admit on air.
But Mevis is so, like, I'm so confident in Mevis that like I stayed in front of the TV. I was like, he's making this, and sure enough.
Yeah, I feel good when I see him go out and make those kicks. The thicker kicker is definitely going to be kicking on Sundays. And if he's not, there's a lot of stupid NFL GMs. Heck, I'd take him over Butker. I really would.
Harrison Mevis is a kicker. I feel like Harrison Mevis is a kicker that's going to be worthy of like a 6th or 7th round draft pick. Like a lot of times teams won't draft kickers. They'll just wait to sign him as a UDFA. But Harrison Mevis might be worthy of a draft pick.
If I was the Chiefs, I feel like some team would probably trade like a 6th round pick for Harrison Butker, and I would use that pick to draft Mevis.
The better Harrison.
100%. I love this guy so much.
Yeah. That's all we got for today, guys, though. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to be a rough rest of the season. For those of you watching, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.
The piggies are murdering.